I'm going to keep this video nice and short because honestly, there's no easy answer for this outside of slow the F down, but I don't think that's going to happen. So basically, I'm talking about nerfing and buffing today when it comes to balancing video games. Here's the thing. When it comes down to nerfing or buffing, concept-wise, they're a good idea and a good method for dealing with a game being, unbalanced a little bit. But the problem is that's not the reality. You see, the concept is there for it to work the way it's supposed to. The problem is that no video game developer in the big name business actually does it properly. You see, almost every single video game company you can name that has done nerfing or buffing to balance out their video game, all of them have failed. Well, maybe not all, but so many that it's honestly a nightmare trying to think of one example who did it right. Maybe you know of a game that managed to do it right. And if so, please leave in the comments this way I know what video game I need to hunt for. Alright? But so far, from what I've experienced in my many years, is simple. Too many, if not most, have no damn clue how to do it right. Too many, if not everyone I've experienced ever in my life, have had the same idiotic idea that when nerfing or buffing a game, the method that should be applied is nerf or buff hard and do it fast. The problem is this is blatantly wrong and a piss poor idea. In fact, what they should actually be doing is nerfing slow and soft at first and testing it constantly so that this way they can find that right balance. But too many just think hit it hard with a nerf and then move on to the next thing. Which just doesn't work. And it doesn't help that there are even some games that think nerfing is a good idea in a single player game. Don't believe me? Guess what was the first update done for Octopath Traveler 2? Nerfing a subclass. No, really. They thought in a single player only game where you can only ever fight the AI, work with humans is just not possible at all. Fighting other people is not possible at all. You will only ever play the game single player by yourself, and you will never run into an actual player ever. Period. End of discussion. Unless they decide to someday do some weird ass expansion pass where all of a sudden now you can fight other people, which would make no damn sense and would be weird and out of place to just suddenly cram that into an expansion where it doesn't even make sense. No. It is a game where you will fight AI, or AI, and nothing else. So nerfing a subclass makes no damn sense. If you're so concerned with subclasses being balanced out, then instead of nerfing a strong class, you should be buffing the weaker ones that suck, so that this way they become more viable options. That's your own fault. And no, I don't feel like nerfing in a single player game makes a damn lick of sense no matter what your excuse is. And believe me, I'm sure there are people who are gonna try. But there's nothing you could say that would make a damn lick of sense in a single player only game. Now, if this was a game where you could fight other people, alright, okay, I can run with that. I can logicify and run with that. I can understand that then. I can work with it then. It's not a multiplayer game. It's never been a multiplayer game. I beyond heavily doubt it's ever going to be a multiplayer game. And even if they were going to try and cram multiplayer in, I would actually prefer that they go with cooperative, because that would be 90 times more interesting, entertaining, and worth a damn than PvP. Now, let's just be real here. Can nerfing and buffing be done better? Yes! Yes, it can be done better by slowing the hell down and not cramming the nerf in with all the brute force of a jackhammer. Okay? That's a great way to make nerfing something viable then, for balancing your game. Make buffing something viable for balancing your game. The catch is, like I said, you do not fist it into your game. Because then your game kind of get screwed for it, and sometimes will become then radically unbalanced and even become a terrible game even. That's very real. That is a very real threat that can happen when making your game. Be careful. Test religiously. Test paranoidly. Both, even. Okay? Especially if you're going to do nerfing or buffing. Test before you nerf and buff. Test in the middle of nerfing, buffing. Test after you've nerfed and buffed. Test it again, test it some more. Okay? So that this way, you can ensure that your game does not die or have its freaking overall experience destroyed because of that kind of BS. Okay? Now, there were some examples that were given about how nerfing can just kind of ruin a character or a weapon or situations and stuff like that. For example, how Mercy's is kind of, last I played Overwatch, before they demanded I put in a QR code, do a QR scanner, and give them my phone number when I already have a friggin' Blizzard account. When it comes down to it, honestly, Mercy last I left off was trash, was worthless, was replaced, turned from a great healer who had a high skill ceiling. Yes, I was part of the closed beta test, and I can tell you right now, she was fuck tons better, more well made, well balanced in that beta test than she was last I played not long ago. Especially since her replacement for her freaking revive all alt, which no one apparently bothered to actually do research on before they complained about it, mind you, which had limitations. Yes, it did. You could not revive people on the other end of the map, no matter what you did. And there was a limited reach, the same reach you would find in freaking Diva's alt. Anything past a Diva alt would not get revived. It's literally limited. If there's a wall between you two, you're not getting revived. Period. Good luck. That's the thing. There was even an example from Smab about an SMG in a game she used to play that had a really good, fun SMG that had a high skill ceiling, once again. And once again, stupid morons who don't understand what the meaning of skill ceiling means, alright, don't understand that what it means by that is that anyone who sucks at the game is not going to get usage out of it, of course. Mercy during closed beta test was the kind of character who would very quickly, easily, and effortlessly divide those who suck at the game and those who kicked ass at the game. Why? Simple. She demanded the most skill, timing, smarts, brain cells, attention out of every single character at the time. Now she's just kind of a shit joke who can't do healing for shit, can't do offense for shit, and doesn't really do anything and contribute anything. She's easily replaceable by any character class. Great. This SMG went from being relatively accurate and didn't have a huge magazine, no. Did it have a huge fire rate? No. It was just relatively acceptable recoil controls, all it really had to it. And they, just like Mercy before, or after, nerfed to death until it was completely worthless. Now when someone picks up a Mercy, you know it's one of two things. It's either a dumbass who's showing off, or it's someone who's skilled but trying to show off. There's a possibility it's the third one if it's actually a skilled player who's just like trying to do something different than what they normally do. Potentially, not likely. The thing is, though, nerfing and buffing just isn't a viable method so long as people keep doing it the way morons have been doing it, which is nerfing, buffing hard, fast, and with no brain cells or testing done to ensure it doesn't bite them. It's honestly idiotic. But there's also nothing that can truly be done about it, because on top of developers really seeming to be really against doing it the better way of testing more often, probably because it takes more time, more money, more manpower, possibly. I would think that wouldn't matter as much as ensuring that we can maximize our profits by releasing a worth a damn game. But yeah, that's just because I'm old and spiteful. When it comes down to it, honestly, the only real fixes for this issue that I know of that are an easy fix is just slowing down the overall rate at which people nerf or buff characters, and instead of doing them hard, do them soft. That sounds so sexual, and that kind of just seems fitting. I'm gonna leave it. When it comes down to it, I do hope I see you guys next week. I am gonna, or not next week exactly, I suppose. Now that I remember, I'm late as hell, anyways. But yeah, hopefully I see you all next time. I don't entirely know what I'm gonna do yet. Probably do something random. Mostly just because I haven't really. I'm only just now catching up on about more than a week's worth of crap sleep again. So my brain's not here. My brain is somewhere in the background begging for death, I assume. So yeah. So I will see you all next time. See ya.